welcome to the Edmonton Sports Dome Oil Kings Report. I'm Jordan Greenlee. I'm joined today by the voice of the Edmonton Oil Kings as the team is out on the road, Corey Graham. Corey, thanks a lot for joining me here today.
Yeah, anytime, Jordan, absolutely.
Well, let's just talk about this road trip and how things have gone for the team. A little bit of a tough start to the American road trip, but things picked up with a win in Seattle, and the team is trying to get back on track after a shaky start.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I thought obviously struggled the first two games in Spokane and in Tri-City before really rebounding against Seattle. You kind of look at the two games before that. They just weren't playing great hockey, and I know to a man the Oil Kings were frustrated the way they were playing, but able to get the ship righted against Seattle to kind of turn it around a little bit.
How's the feeling in the room right now with the guys and being around them, obviously, as much as you have, especially with these long bus trips lately? What's the feeling like amongst the guys as the season starts to wind down and they start to get ready for the playoffs?
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, you kind of hit it on the head there with the season winding down. You don't want to get the sense that people are looking forward to the end of the season and the playoffs, but it's tough this time of year to I think focus on the task at hand at times, and I know that's what the coaches have really been working on here. And you know, you look at this U.S. swing where a lot of the players, it's their first or second time through, so a lot of new things to see, and obviously some cities they don't get to see very often. So maybe a little bit of distracting this time of year to go on the road down here, but once they get to the rink, it's been pretty focused. And outside the two games that weren't good, and I know they were very frustrated afterwards, and you know, took full accountability for those two losses. But I think it rebounded nice. You know, had a couple days off in Seattle, went down to Pikes Market, kind of had some team bonding time. So I think that's going to be good heading into the playoffs here. Looking
forward to the rest of this trip. One more game against Everett on Friday, and then you're back, but not back at home. And talk about what's left for the team, a three-game out east road trip, and then they finally return home for the last three games of the year, one home, one away, and then one home again to finish out the season.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting schedule, isn't it? This U.S. swing for the Oil Kings, they're away for, 10, 11 days here. They get home, have, I think, time just enough to do laundry before jumping on the bus once again and heading out east. They got Brandon Moosejaw and, Regina Brandon Moosejaw on that trip. So it's, you know, on paper it looks like a huge road trip, but at least the Kings get a chance to go home for a couple days to recharge a little bit before heading out east. And then, like you mentioned, the stretch at home, it's going to be interesting. If they get home, they play Saskatoon, who's just been absolutely on fire as of late, and then the home and home with Red Deer, which is always a battle to finish the season.
Taking a look at the standings as we do get closer to the playoffs here, some potential first-round matchups for the team. It looks like it's kind of a mix, but Lethbridge, Kootenay, Swift Current, Medicine Hat, those are teams that are kind of in that pack there. Judging by what you've seen this year, is there any favorable matchup in there or any team that the Oil Kings might like to see in the first round of the playoffs?
I'll go the other way on you here. I think the team that's scaring a lot of people right now is Kootenay. I mean, they've been unbelievable since Christmas. And, you know, it's a tough barn to play in. They've beaten Edmonton all three times there. And, you know, I kind of wonder, I think that was probably the worst matchup of those teams in that sort of foothold for that 8th spot, although they're right behind Swift Current, sort of running them down as well, and they passed Lethbridge and already put some distance between themselves and the Hurricanes. So it's, you know, the Ice and the Broncos, I think, play similar games, big physical teams, and that kind of grain on you a little bit. And obviously Kootenay with Sam Reinhart and his skill would be an interesting matchup. But I think if you're Edmonton, you're pretty confident no matter who you play. You know, the way your season's gone, and I think you have to have that confidence going into anybody's barn, and whether it's trying to find a way to solve the red-hot ice or not in the first round, I think that's a task they'll have to deal with when they get there.
Corey, as you were mentioning, the team gets back and then they head out on their Eastern Road swing. All those games are broadcasted on the Team 1260 with you, obviously calling the games. Where can people go and tune in if they'd like to check out the games for the rest of this season here?
Yeah, absolutely. Team 1260 obviously on the radio. You can check out the team1260.com as well if you want to tune in, and it should be a fun ride.
Awesome, Corey. Hey, thanks a lot for joining us again here today, and I'm sure we'll touch base again once the playoffs get going.
Anytime, Jordan. Thanks.
That'll do it for the Edmonton Sports Dome Oil Kings Report. I'm Jordan Greenlee.